Hey yo, Andy Sanyo, stopholdingback.com.
Simon Bailey.
Ramasuman.
And we're here today to talk about
We're here to talk about motivation and how important motivation is in any change cycle, particularly as we're going to talk about stuttering. So we're going to talk about motivation, and what I'm going to do is build up a model of the way we see motivation working when you're trying to make a change in your speech. So I've got these little yellow stickers I'm going to stick up on the table. So this first one is motivation. And we recognize the importance of the two different types of motivation that exist. You can have away from motivation, which is about you telling yourself you don't like something and you want to move away from it. And as human beings, we're only motivated to do two things. Number one is to avoid pain, and number two is to get pleasure. So this next one is pain, the sticky label going on the table here. We're motivated to want to move away from pain. Now in terms of what we're talking about tonight, it's stuttering. Because we don't like stuttering, do we guys?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
We don't like stuttering. So this label is stuttering, and this goes between away from and the pain. And we've defined stuttering, for now, we're going to define it as just holding back.
Holding back.
Would you agree, guys? Holding back
Yes, I do.
is the root cause of all stuttering.
I would definitely agree that holding back perhaps is a better word for stuttering in itself.
Yeah, the act of holding back when speaking.
Yeah.
But we're also going to recognise that there's another very important part of motivation, which is called towards motivation. Now, towards motivation is actually saying, yes, there's something we don't like, but also there's something that we do like. And again, just to repeat what I said, we can be motivated as human beings to want to avoid pain, but we want to get pleasure. So this is our other arm of our motivation link, if you like. So we want to motivate ourselves to avoid pain and towards getting pleasure. And we defined pleasure in our stuttering model here. We defined it as fluency, but I'm going to come back with it because I know we don't like fluency, do we?
Well, I haven't got a problem
Tricky
with
question.
It's a tricky question.
that. I ain't got a problem with that.
Whether we call it fluency or not is a video in itself. Some people call it control, some people call it management, but what we're defining as fluency in our little model is the journey to non-stuttering.
Yes, journey to non-stuttering.
Now that's a
You
little
agree?
bit negative, isn't it, guys? Journey. So do you think we need to define stuttering now?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, we do, definitely.
So,
I'm intrigued.
what would you say, Ramesh, is stuttering?
To me, stuttering is when you're giving tricks such as facial contortions, hand slap, tongue thrusts, and you're avoiding words and situations, and that to me is stuttering.
Thank you, Ramesh. So we're going to put this as our definition of what we're calling stuttering. What would you say, Ao? Can you expand a bit more on avoidances? It's words, situations, it's people, but would you say that you were living a less than complete life, a part life, not doing things that you really wanted to do?
Yeah, when I was holding back a lot more, I was a lot more reserved. I wasn't my true self. I wasn't the person I now think I could eventually become. I was someone totally different to what I am today, actually. So, being a person who stammers, using tricks like Ramesh has just talked about, using avoidance strategies, avoiding situations, that's definitely all holding back, and that's all part of the stuttering mindset.
And you weren't living a full life,
And I
were you?
definitely
Because you were
wasn't.
avoiding.
I was ruined.
And was that a major motivational factor for you for wanting to do something about your speech? You wanted to lead a fuller life,
Yes.
get out into the world, show the world what you got.
I was experiencing so much pain. I found the motivation to avoid that pain and seek pleasure.
It's quite interesting the way that motivation works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Most people need to motivate themselves away from pain to begin with.
To begin with.
And I think when you come on, for example, a speech therapy course, we won't mention any names here, you know, the people, they try and invoke a little bit of pain. When's the last time you were ashamed? And it's guilt. And they use this model called the iceberg, and it's got all these negative things in it.
Yeah, of
so they
course.
try and stir up a little bit of pain to get people doing what they've got to do,
people
the
moving,
long hours.
going,
And that is great to begin with. But
It's
we
fantastic.
know, don't we, that it's not enough to
Not
carry
enough.
on.
It's not enough.
You can motivate yourself away with pain, but you've got to have a little bit of a carrot. You've got to have this pleasure at the end of it. And that's what we want to explore in this video.
Yes, 100%.
So, we've defined what we think of stuttering, and we've got this word which people don't like, fluency, as the journey to non-stuttering. And Ayo, do you want to just read out what we define as the journey to non-stuttering, where we're going to get to?
What we define as the journey to non-stuttering is speaking your own way, not holding back, no feared words or situations, doing everything you want to do in your life. That is the journey. It's a journey. It's not like, bang, you're going to get there. It's a journey. And there are methods and processes or steps you must follow to reach and complete that journey. It might take you a long time, but you will get there if you have the belief, which we're going to talk about later on.
And Ramesh, that's very important, that first point here, speaking your own way. And what do you think about speaking your own way in all situations? Are you happy doing it?
Yes, I am. I speak my own way because it gives me my own liberty, and also I can challenge situations in a bespoke manner. All of us are different as people, and we need to tailor things into our own ways.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, what about, for example, you maybe purposely being disfluent? Were you happy with that in your early days, Ramesh?
Yes, I was, because it helped me in terms of psychologically, and to accept myself as a stammerer, and to advertise my stammer to the outside world.
And this is very important because we're defining the journey to non-stuttering, speaking your own way, in whatever way you need to use, whatever tools you need to use to speak your own way is part of that journey to non-stuttering. And we've
I
used
agree
this
with
word.
that fully.
And is there a name for that technique or speaking your own way on that journey to non-stuttering?
Well, it's about permission framing. It's about you giving yourself permission assertively to speak in whatever way you need to do. Firstly, to get control, but control isn't enough, because I think John Harrison has taught us, hasn't he, that stuttering isn't, in fact, over-controlled. Out-of-control speech is over-controlled speech. So you can actually get caught up in too much control,
Yes.
over-control, intellectualization. And because we're defining stuttering as holding back, you want to let go. And eventually, when you get confidence and you're totally happy to speak your own way, whatever tools and techniques work for you, different courses, different programs recommend different things.
Yes.
If you're not holding back,
Yes.
you've given yourself permission to speak your own way.
Yes.
You're letting go.
I agree with that, and when you don't hold back, you challenge your comfort zones, and you become stronger by challenging the world and by being yourself in the outside world. If you hold back, then your speech doesn't get better, because you're not experiencing any great pleasure of experiencing new situations, and that's been one of my key journeys to becoming an eloquent speaker.
And it's the very important thing to realise is speech isn't a means. It's a means to an end. And speaking itself, yes, you can get some pleasure out of it. But this point of doing everything you want to do in your life with your speech.
Yes.
It's fluency, so what? It's whatever word you want to use it, non-stuttering as we've defined it.
Yeah.
What then are you going to do with it? Are you going to push out your comfort zones? Are you going to get a new job? Are you going to meet new people? Are you going to do speeches?
And
Are you going to travel the world? Are you going to learn a new
And it
language?
all comes back to motivations. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you working on your speech? Why are you joining a specific speech program? Why? Check your motivations.
Motivation is very important because it should define why you're doing things in your life. And you should work towards positive outcomes, which we've discussed here.
Absolutely, and these two arms of motivation that we've identified, away from and towards, they're happening interactively. They're happening all at the same time. They're happening, one, you go away from pain, you get a bit of pleasure, you maybe have some pain, you go back, you want to correct this. It's a journey. And we're
Pain is
human.
perfect though, I think,
Yeah.
because you need to challenge your imperfections and to really stretch out your comfort zones to achieve great stuff.
Yeah. To begin with.
Yeah, to begin with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people now are probably wondering, they're saying, well, how do you speak your own way? What do you want to do? Well, we're not going to go into specific tools or techniques that you may have learned on whatever program or therapist you've been on. But one of the things that you must do, we believe, is visualize.
Visualization, key.
Important.
It's the key. It's the magic key.
Key to success.
If you don't visualize yourself being the person you want to become, you're going to have a hard job becoming that person eventually.
Visualization is about seeing yourself at a practical level, what you want to do, actually, what way that you need to speak to let go and to have no holding back, to attack, feared words. You know, we'll be honest about it, there's a lot of psychology in stuttering, and you need to
Of course.
use whatever tools that you're comfortable with. You've got to use them and visualize yourself using them and seeing them working before you start doing it and feeling that they're going to work. Would you agree, Ramesh?
Yes, I do, because visualization to me is positive thinking. We need to think positively about where we want to be in this world and to go on that journey to achieve it. Maybe it won't be achieved overnight, but if we visualize, it will be achieved. I'm saying this as a successful businessman in my own journey.
Like Simon said, speech is not a means, it's a means to an end. And once you can visualize yourself using weapons or using different techniques and being successful at using them, you might consider visualizing other stuff into your life. Visualizing yourself into a better job, better relationship. It's holistic. You will go as a person if you use visualization. Visualization everywhere, in every aspect of your life.
You've got to do it. You've got to visualize yourself there doing it, it working. But visualization is not enough. We need some action, but before we need action, you need to have intention. And intention comes with a lot of mindset. It comes with courage, determination, perseverance. And do you want to just talk about that very important thing?
Not holding back. Having the right intention to not hold back, regardless of how you're starting. You need to believe in yourself. You need to tell yourself, I'm willing to pay the price to become this. You're willing to pay the price. And paying the price is having the right intention and doing whatever it takes to realize what your intention wants to deliver in its results. Was that a good explanation?
Of
Yeah.
course, it's very good, very powerful.
Well, what do you think, Ramesh?
I think not holding back is a great thing. We should always not hold back, because without this, we will never achieve anything. And even if you make faults like stammer, I think it's great, because we're pushing ourselves out of that comfort zone and really experiencing something new. And in the future, if you take notice, you'll overcome anything, and you'll overcome your speech problems or anything. You just need to get out there and experience things, and to achieve just no price in doing or failing. Always go for success.
Always go for success. And it is a difficult concept, this no holding back.
Yeah.
But you have to do it with a little bit of self-centeredness, and really other people's perceptions sometimes cause us to hold back. Sometimes we don't want to do things. Sometimes we're worried what other people will think of us. Are they worried about the way we're speaking, maybe if we use technique or stuttering on purpose? What will the other person think? Well, you've got to lose that. You've got to lose all inhibition and the loss of inhibition, of worrying, giving a toss what other people think. That is a very, very important part of holding back. We still treat people with dignity and respect, but really, what's the point of giving a toss about what other people think?
Yes.
In my life as an entrepreneur, I've always learned that failure is better than success. You learn from your failure and you become better from it. With success, it's just ongoing. Life is ongoing. With failure, you learn so much. I failed so many times. I lost so much money, probably over 100,000. But I've learned everything along that way of how this world works, how processes work, how we must work to go forward. So I think failure is always the greatest thing in life. So stop holding back and get out there tomorrow and go on your own journey and make the mistakes, great, and you'll get success. But success isn't always a great thing. Do you agree?
I agree. And what I would say, this journey to non-stuttering, that doesn't mean on that journey you're not gonna stammer or block or go through dips. I still go through some minor dips, but if you have a path and you know you have the right direction, you know where you're going, stick on that journey, stick on that path, and you will reach your destination. 100% money back guarantee.
And the intention is mindset of working on your speech with pride, with a smile on your face,
definitely.
Involving other people, disclosing, asking your friends around you to help you with your speech, to maybe be your coach. Explain to them what you're doing. For example, if you're stuttering on purpose, you're not just trying to mimic or tease other stutterers or do anything like that. Explain the psychology and the physicality behind what you're doing to everyone around you. Whatever program you're on, it doesn't matter what every technique you're using. So long as you do some of these other points that we're going to come out, talk about belief and personalization in a minute, but Ramesh?
And for me, when I used DD, it's a mindset. I accept that I'm a stammerer. I work on overcoming it when I use DD. So I advertise to myself and to other people that I am a stammerer, and this is very important to not get complacent with our speeches, for example, and also to work on life.
And just to expand on that, DD means deliberate disfluency. It means stuttering on purpose when you consciously decide to stutter. With whatever technique you're using, that's fine. That's what deliberate disfluency means. It's a conscious decision. It's psychology, it's mentality, it's the approach.
Yeah, and that technique has many names.
Many different names. Different programs call it different things. Joe Sheehan invented it 60 years ago. He called it voluntary stuttering. Speech therapists have their own names for it.
Or you could even
So
call
just
it...
to explain what DD, what Ramesh was talking about.
Yeah.
So we're going to go on now. We've got our visualization, we've got our intention, but that's no good unless we take action. But what we think is just action on its own possibly isn't enough, because you may be asked to do things that possibly you've got some resistance or objection to. So you need a couple more things. The first is a bit of belief, and this is our belief tab now. A bit of belief that what you're having to do, what you've made the decision to do, maybe a coach has told you or another therapist has told you, you need a bit of belief that it could work. You need that little bit of trust to just give it a go.
Yes.
Take things on trust for a while. And then, when you've seen positive results, your belief systems will change.
Yes.
But you need a little bit of belief, just that little shred of belief to get you going, to get you started. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. Because you can't achieve anything in life without belief, and you have to trust yourself, number one. You can't allow other people to trust you, because this world is selfish and it's very self-centered, so you have to trust yourself in whatever you're doing. If you're working on your speech, if you're trying to go for a promotion, just trust yourself and your own instincts. That's very important. I've learned these as an entrepreneur and also a teacher in the professional world for the last 15 years.
Yeah. For me, belief is fundamental. Belief in oneself is the magic key, along with intention. But belief doesn't come on its own. Belief comes with experiencing positive results. Well, if you want to change an old belief into a positive one. So, like Simon said, you have to trust your teacher, Trust whoever's trying to help you work on your speech for a while. And once you see some positive results from that, you have to trust yourself and move forward.
And the final part of our diagram, our little jigsaw,
Very
is
important.
called personalize.
Yes.
Personalize, and this is actually a very, very key thing that is so motivational and get you going. So we've got intention, we've got belief feeding into action, but we've also got personalization of our intentions and our actions before we do them. So what we're saying here as part of visualization, we're using it in the first person. We're not just learning lists, paraphrasing that you may have got from courses. We're actually saying, I'm resisting time pressure. I'm centering and clarifying. I'm formulating. I'm establishing and maintaining eye contact. And that ties beautifully into the visualization. We're not just learning lists and we're just doing it like robots. We're actually making what we have to do our own by adding that keyword, I am or I'm. You could say I will, but that's just too vague, isn't it? We don't like I will, do we?
I don't like I will. It's I am. You need to talk like you already have it.
Yeah.
Like you are already that person, man. It's vital. Words have vibration. Words are powerful. Words have meaning. The more you personalize something, the more you believe it. Your subconscious mind is it's primitive. It will just accept whatever you tell it. So you might as well say I am instead of I will. Say you have it, and you will have it.
So
And
we-
also, I'm sorry, we're going through our personal journeys in life, and I think this is important to take control of your own speech or your own life. You can't rely on coaches after you've reached that foundation. You can take on their advice, but you have to take on your own advice. If you fail, it's okay. Learn from it. Keep on moving forward in life. I think, from me, you have to learn from yourself and self-coach yourself and to become stronger, because nobody else is going to take control of it other than yourself.
Yeah.
I think these things are very fundamental.
Absolutely right. So we've got our action button in there, which is very important. We'll show you this diagram. Little yellow stickers on this table will show you. It's very important when you see action to think that there are three things going into it. You need that initial belief, you need that rock solid intention of what you're going to do, all those mental strengths that you need, courage, determination, just that will, just to not hold back, not hold back. And you need to personalize exactly what actions you're going to take.
Yes.
I am taking my time. I am keeping eye contact. Make it about you rather than just taking what you've been spoon-fed by any therapist or program. Personalize it, and then it gets power. Power by personalization is the key. Would you agree?
Yes, I do, because you have to take control of your own matters, not what any coach or therapist suggests. You've got to be in control of your own destiny in life. This is very important. Otherwise, you become like the sheep. You will never go out of your own flock. You have to gain that empowerment in your own speech and to overcome any obstacle that's in front of you. Because here, I'm with some great guys, Simon and Ao, but we live different lives, we do different things. Simon is a semi-retired guy, Ao is a...
I work on the railway.
Yeah, so we live different lives, so we have to work on our own separate lives, not go by prescription.
Yes. And a wise man once told me, quickly, no one will save you but yourself. No one will save you but yourself. They might help you in the beginning, but it's up to you.
I think that's a good point. That's a good point. It helped in the beginning. We've all learned a lot from other people, but we've also recognised that we have to take responsibility ourselves. You can have the greatest coach in the world, but you have to become, at some point in time, your own coach, as Ramesh has said, to take responsibility for your own life. You've learned from these people, now get out and do it.
Yes, I think so.
No holding back.
After the initial period of building a foundation, you have to do things yourself.
I've got an affirmation which might be useful to you guys, and it's about responsibility. It goes like this: I am responsible for my life, for my actions, and for my results. I'll say that at least a couple of times a week when I remember, and it's really helpful.
It's a good point. Results there. This ties into probably one of the final things, guys, that we're going to say. We don't just want to take action, because what do we get from action?
Results.
Results. We get feedback.
Feedback.
And then we analyse. How did we do? Did we do well? Fine. We keep on doing it. But we also recognise that we're getting some pleasure from it, and we reflect on that pleasure. And we're not afraid, are we, of patting ourselves on the back when we've done well?
Yeah.
Why not? Why shouldn't we reward ourselves when we've done well, when we get pleasure? What's the point of getting pleasure unless you acknowledge it and say, fantastic, I want more?
Yes.
And we can get pleasure out of getting pleasure. That's
more-
called metastating, but we can get pleasure out of getting pleasure.
The more positive feedback you give yourself, the more action you're going to take to we get that pleasure.
Yeah.
Right?
And if we don't get the results we want, we maybe tweak something, change it. This is where intention of courage, determination, perseverance comes in. We don't just give up, we keep going. There is no holding back and there is no turning back. So we've just been talking about motivation and everything and how it fits in. So we started from motivation, we went down the away from arm first, which is normally how people get started. They want to move away from pain, and we've defined stuttering as pain and holding back. We spoke about what our definition of stuttering is, tricks and avoidances. And then we started looking about what we want to go towards, our towards motivation. So we want pleasure, but we also want this thing that we're calling fluency, which we're defining, but it's more the journey to non-stuttering, as opposite to the tricks and avoidances here. So we've given our little definition of what we mean by the journey to non-stuttering, speaking your own way, giving yourself permission to speak in whatever technique, whatever way that you think is right for you, with no holding back. That's mentality, and you're looking to eliminate feared words and feared situations, and also doing everything you want to do. And some people call that pushing out comfort zone, but that's really your life skill, which ties back to giving you pleasure. So a lot of these points tie together. To achieve this, you've got to visualize it, you've got to see it, you've got to feel it, and you've got to have the correct intention of courage, perseverance, and not to hold back. So then you personalize what you actually want to do. You have a little bit of belief creeping in before you take the action. You need a little bit of belief that what you're going to do is going to work, that it will work for you. Maybe you've had advice from coaches or programs or therapists, it doesn't matter. And you have to just, it's a little bit of trust. And belief and trust are very tied up. You take the action, do whatever you need to do, and then your belief will increase and your intention will increase. And then you can visualize your success. So all these little points here are all tied together, but they all stem from this biggie here. You gotta have motivation, guys. You gotta have it.
Thank you.